Welcome, welcome, beautiful people, to the room. Today we are honoring the legend himself, Mr. Jermaine Dupri. We are welcoming LA the GOAT. Yes, sir. Today is going to be very special. Drop with gems. I go by the rundown. Gentlemen, we are honored and blessed to have you tonight. It's going to be an amazing night. People have been on fire on this app, anticipating both of your arrivals. How do you guys feel today?
I'm good. I'm interested to see how this LA first time on here. So, LA, how you feel about what's going on?
LA, you learned all the new feature, brother? You need help?
No. Everything's good. It's just, you get a lot of bad reviews about Clubhouse. So, I try to stay away from stuff. Like, I don't know. But it seems like it's cool, It seems like it's a vibe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a vibe. People have been raving about Clubhouse. It's a beautiful place to be. I'm really blessed to have you here. Blessed, of course, to have Mr. Dupri here. I want to make sure we have some of the Def Jam representatives in here as well. I'm searching for them, making sure they come up. But in the meantime, Mr. Dupri, if you can, you spoke to me briefly about meeting LA in a pandemic and in a very unique way that might have never been done before. Can you please elaborate on how both you guys met?
Well, yeah, I actually met him on Instagram, where he was basically rapping over "Money Ain't a Thing," and for those that don't know, "Money Ain't a Thing" is my record, and he was he basically did a freestyle over my record, and he posted it, a video, and he had his fan base actually start hitting me and dropping these goats in my timeline. So I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is this goat thing that keep coming up on my page? Now, I mean, people have done this before, but for some reason I really paid attention to this one. And it's interesting because, like I said, it was at the beginning, it was almost, I would almost say like a couple of months into us being into this pandemic and being locked away and not being able to actually have contact with people and to do A&R that way and sign the artists that way. That's something I never thought I would ever do. Being the way that I've signed all my artists associated with Death prior. So yeah, it was a very, very, very interesting process. So he and I spoke, then we started going back and forth on once we exchanged numbers, and we just started going back and forth, and it was like we ended up doing a virtual record deal. I had never, me personally, I never thought that I would be doing that, and nobody even told me. You know what I'm saying? That's something that it just happened, so organic. And it's wild. It's wild to even think that it happened like that, but that's exactly what happened.
Wow. How does that feel, LA, to virtually be signed? A first A&R experience through the digital space, through being discovered on Instagram. How did that feel to you? Can you describe the feeling, maybe especially for the artists down below who wish to be in your shoes? If you can drop gems and give them some insight on how you went about it and really how God had blessed you in that moment.
I mean, well, basically it was like, cause I've been like jumping on like, how do you put it? Like influencers on Instagram on their lives and rapping and, rapping over other like legends, classic songs and getting them to tag. And they always come like, we'll tap in. So I've met Jazzy Faye rapping on Sierra, So What, Big Bank. It's just the list goes on, but it's like they weren't like, I don't know how to put it, but they weren't really like as like aggressive as JD, but not aggressive in a way like, man, I really want to sign you, but just like trying to see like what's going on, and you feel me, like reaching out and talking to me. So it's like it was different when it was with him because he hit me from his personal number, and when somebody call you from from their personal phone, it's like, all right, it's kind of like, it's serious. So, I mean, the way I really go about it, just like, you got to keep grinding. You got to keep sending DMs. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do shows. I've done shows for free up until, like, I was just signed. And it just, not because I, like, really wanted to be signed that bad. It's just, like, I really like to do music. So if that's a way to get it out there, or the promoter don't feel like I can bring a bunch of people, I'm going to do the free shows and still bring the crowd. But then next time, you know, you got to pay. But it's just like, I don't have no problem proving myself. And I guess JD see that, like, I don't mind. Like, any challenge, I'm ready to take it on.
Well, that's inspiring. We got a few people, representatives up on stage. We have Mariana as well. I know, Mariana, you had some questions. Prior to you asking your questions, I wanted to, first and foremost, thank you all for being here. Mr. Dupri, thank you for being here. LA, thank you for being here. This room is about to get very interesting very soon. To all the people down in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special moment tonight. First and foremost, welcome to everybody. Please ping all of your friends. You want to do them this service of having them being in this room tonight, because this is a very special moment. We have some very special guests here. Invite all of your friends here. Let them know that a legend, a real legend in this business is in the building. A future legend is in the building. And we are about to get active in here. Welcome, Mariana. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome. Thank you for having me. What's good, everyone?
What's good? So feel free to go ahead and ask your questions. We have Mr. Jermaine Dupri in the building. We have LA the GOAT in the building. Oh, it's a beautiful night tonight.
All right. I guess I was just here to support that. The 8-band song, that shit is fire. Who produced it, and like, what was your vision when you made it?
It was actually produced by one of my friends. He's younger than me. He's like 4 or 5 years younger than me, but his name is Blackberry. So he's originally from like a little like village in Africa, like no BS. Like, I ain't trying to be like funny now, but he really like from a small place in Africa, and he moved here like 2000 and like I want to say like 8 or 7, and he barely knew how to speak English when he first got here, as he told me, because I just met him like 2-3 years ago. But as he, I guess, progressed and started meeting people, he started producing. So he produced for T9 from Tampa. He got a few records with the producer, DJ Swift. So he's been doing this thing. But when he sent me the record, to be like, in all honesty, like, I liked the beat, but I wasn't crazy about it. I just liked the sample, that it was the Wu-Tang sample, because I like hip hop. You feel me? I'm a music head. So I just liked the sample and the flip on it, because it was like a Florida flip. But I didn't think the song was going to be how it, like, as big as it was. It was more so like just a fun song, because we freestyled it at, like, if you listen to the beginning of the song, that's actually the producer in the background, like, laughing and joking. So, like, we recorded it in the room, in like almost a closet like space. So when I previewed it on Triller and put it on my Instagram, it got like the most comments I ever got at the time. So like 110 comments, the views was up. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna just shoot a video. So I went to my neighborhood and we just like hang out how we usually do, but we shot a video. And I mean, the song is a real gem now, because 2 of the dudes that were actually in the video passed away. One of them a cousin and one of them was a good friend. So, like, to see where it started at and now where it is, I just be thanking God, you feel me, that I'm in the position that I'm in.
So, Mr. Dupri, you have experienced many generations, many twists and turns in the culture. You have seen a lot of the greatness that has happened in music over the decades, over the years, and have been so instrumental and hands-on to so many number ones, so many Billboard hits, so many monumental artists. Now, fast forward to 2021, and you discovered LA the GOAT. Can you tell us a little bit about your past experiences, fast forward to 2021 and meeting this young cat and what you see in him compared maybe to others, but not, you know, maybe in your own words and your experiences.
I mean, this probably is like a first, right? You know, like I said, it's this a first of just like me having to actually completely go out on the limb with my gut, you know, and not completely. I mean, I guess Crisscross was my gut too. You know, nobody had ever heard these guys rap in their life, so. I mean, you know, I guess that's the person that I am. Like if I feel it in my gut, I try to go with it. You know what I mean? I go as far as I could go with it until I hit a wall. And with LA, it's you know, I heard him doing something else besides 8 bands, and I was willing to sign him off of that, right? That's so when I heard that 8 bands record, I was like, oh shit, I done bumped into some, you know, I done stumbled into something crazy. Like, and you know, it's very similar to Anthony Hamilton. When I signed Anthony Hamilton, I said the same thing. I was like, yo, it's no way possible that this guy is walking around with this fucking voice like this and ain't nobody signed him. I couldn't believe it, right? And I thought it was like a joke. I thought it was a joke. I was, you know, I was staying in New York at the time when I signed Anthony Hamilton, and I'm like, I'm in a city where it's every record company in the world. Everybody claims that they love soul music. They claim they love R&B. How am I the only person that's hearing this shit? Like, I swear to you, I can't, like, still to this day, even when I think about Anthony and I hear, you know, people that, you know, even LA was talking about it the other day, like, yo, man, I gotta get Anthony Hamilton on the song. When I hear young people like LA the GOAT talk about getting records with Anthony Hamilton, it still makes me say, like, do people even realize, like, this guy was walking around New York City without a record deal? And singing for people. So it's really interesting to me that sometimes some of this stuff to me is God, I believe. It's just God giving it to me because he gave me this gift, because I'm like, I can't, you know, I'm not doing anything that is amazing. I'm just listening to something that is amazing, and then I act on it. So it's basically, I think LA's situation is very kind of similar.
Wow, LA, how do you feel about those words, sir? You know, with a man like Mr. Dupri here, and commending you on you know, just the comparisons to maybe artists he has experienced and the time he's been around. Fast forward 2021, we're in a digital age. You were discovered in a pandemic. You know, with all that's going on and the caliber artist that you are and the journey that you're about to be on. I mean, please share some of that experience and a little bit of what you just heard from Mr. Dupri to the fans.
I mean, me and him kind of share like the same interest in music. It's like we like to feel the music. We don't just like listen. So it'd be a different when you meet somebody who got the same type of music, like interests as you. Like me and him, we be talking about projects and stuff. We don't never really like butt heads. We may have different like ideas about it, but it's like we always like on the same track. So for me and Jermaine Dupri to be doing that, that's just like that show, because the man know music. Like he got all wins really, like SWV. He got Bow Wow. Bow Wow was the biggest, like he was the first of his kind, a rap child star. So like to see people like, oh nah, a rapper that's a kid could never be as big as like an older rapper, just because the age barriers and the things they could rap about. Like Jermaine Dupri was the first one to do that. Even with Crisscross, like people didn't think that they would sell no records, like they went platinum. So it's like he gonna keep showing you like he could do it. It ain't nothing. So it's like it's a big deal for me, and especially with that first. But now it's more like, and this no disrespect, but he more like humanized to me. So it's like it like I know him. So like the celebrity factor, it ain't died down, but it's like, I know him, like, that's my dog, so I could call him and hit him up. So it's like, it's realistic. Like, my homeboy had Janet Jackson. He don't like when I say that, but you know, it's like,
yeah, that's
those
a bar.
type of things,
That's a bar.
Yeah, like no cap. It's just like the things that he done did in his lifetime, dudes pray to do it. He done it many times. So it's like, it's an honor.
Hey, I mean, I could hear you smiling, man. I could see your I could hear your excitement. So there's a lot of people in the audience, man, that would love to be in your shoes, brother. If you were to just drop a few gems for some of the people down below on how they can be blessed, or what are the steps that they can take, like you did, to make it to the next level, especially while being at home and being in a creative space like we all are right now. What are some things, what is the top advice you give somebody who was as hungry as you, that wants to get to a level that you're on?
I mean, I feel what you saying and how y'all feel about it. Well, I still feel like I'm still grinding too, because it's like, at the end of the day, I just think, like, I think before I do things, you feel me? I try to make each move like my best move. You got to move strategic. Sometimes it's going to mean, like, staying up late or having to talk to people when you really like an introvert, because that's me. Like, this new to me. JD will tell you, like, I ain't really like the vocal to talk in front of the crowd, but it's like, if you want to make a way to where your family and people straight forever, you're gonna have to do stuff that you never done before. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it. It wouldn't be like a millionaire, a thousandaire, you feel me, low class, middle class. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it. So it's just and like staying consistent and believing in your own craft and your work. Like, cause I didn't always rap good. Like, I ain't always sound good on song, but I kept going to the studio. And even if you got to go by yourself to like build your confidence, cause that's what I started doing. I was kind of like shy, so it was like, I'm gonna go by myself, and I could do all the screaming and yelling. It's just me and the engineer until you get more comfortable. And it's like, okay, now it's like when I invite people, it's a vibe. We vibe better. They like talking. They give me ideas and stuff like that. No ghostwriting, nothing like that. But you know, like just like talking about old things we did when we was young, old stories that inspire you. Listening to older albums, eccentric stuff. It just puts you in different mindsets and make different types of music that catch people's eye.
Appreciate the insight on that. I'm sure a lot of people down below as well. Another question I had was, what projects are you working on right now? What can people kind of expect from you next?
Oh, well, next we just basically just working, and we trying to put together bodies of work, not just singles, cause that's like a big thing going on, singles. So you know, we know of course like the single catches the people ear, and then they want to hear more from you. So we trying to make it to where when we put out work, it lasts. It like it's not here for 1 month and then you off the charts a month later. We trying to ride the charts out. We trying to do our thing.
Yeah, and I wanna come in on that piece and just like remind everyone, this like we said, this is a virtual this was a virtual signing, right? So he and I have never been in the studio together one time yet, and we actually starting this Sunday. So that's, you know, it's about to start for us as far as the way it's always been for me in the studio with an artist. But this started in a different, you know what I mean? It started in this new model. So we haven't, you know, we yet to be in the studio. And now that people have, you know, we figured out taking tests and this, that, and the third and all of that, we gonna actually go in the studio and see what we really can come up with starting this Sunday.
Wow, that's I've never heard of that, man. And you know, I commend you for trusting, you know, your instinct and having the kind of instinct that you do, especially throughout your career, man, with all your success, all the discoveries, all the number ones, all the hits, and now signing an artist in a pandemic, and you haven't even stepped in the studio with them. I mean, I've never heard of that. I'm sure a lot of people down below that's brand new to them. I know it is to me. So about your instinct and you know, what would you say, Mr. Dupri, is your most favorite, biggest accomplishment?
The fact that I actually believe that I can help others. You know, I at one time, you know, you do it one time, you do it two times, you do it, and it's crazy because I had this moment in my life when I did Crisscross, and Crisscross was number 1, and I was young. I was 19, and I might have been 20. I couldn't have been that much older. And this when this moment happened, not when Crisscross came out, but this moment happened where I was at L.A. Reid's house mixing some other record that I was doing, and Babyface was there, and I had no relationship with Babyface. I never really had met him before, but I admired who he was, and it was Babyface. So it was like, I seen him going into the studio, so I was kind of like excited, like, oh shit, that's Babyface. I'm gonna say what's up. So I ran up on him, right, and I was like, what's up, man? You know, he was at the spot, and the studio was in a housing neighborhood, so it wasn't like a public studio. It was not something where a bunch of people was at. So it was just me and him walking like on this little walkway into the studio, and we talking, and he said, I said, yo, what's up? I'm Jermaine Dupri. And you know, we introduced, and he kind of acted like, I mean, he really didn't really know who I was. And like I'm telling y'all right now, like I said it to him like I was really, really somebody, because I had this one record, right? And Crisscross record Jump, it was number 1. And when you have a record like that, it was by a group that became a phenomenon. I was acting a little bigger than I actually was. So I said, you know, I introduced myself, and then he said, oh, y'all got that little record Jump, right? And he said little record. And that fucked me up, because I'm like, little record? They don't little record. Ain't shit little about my record. Like, I'm cocky as a motherfucker, right? I done made it. You know what I mean? I've been trying to. So I'm cocky, and I'm like, wait a minute, Babyface, what's happening? Because I'm saying, like, you know, Crisscross is 12-year-olds. They got the number 1 record. They ahead of everybody. And then he was like, man, listen, don't get too excited about that song. That's what he told me. He said, don't get too excited about that song. You know what I mean? You do it one time, that's cool. You do it 2 times, that's cool. You start doing what you did with them 3, 4, and 5, and 6 times, then that's when you really on to something. And at that moment, Crisscross success was done for me at that moment, right then and that day. Right then. At that point, I started thinking about exactly what he was saying. Like, oh, motherfuckers ain't gonna believe that I'm who I believe I am until I start figuring out how to duplicate what I've done one time, what I already did with Crisscross. Now, I didn't do what I did with Crisscross again. You know, I haven't had a group that big, but I did do, you know, what like LA said, I brought out Bow Wow. I tried it again 10 years after I did Crisscross. I brought out another kid artist, which was Bow Wow. Like, to me, that's my greatest accomplishment, is that I figured out what Babyface was talking about. I think.
Mm-hmm. Man, thank you for sharing, Mr. Dupri. That's amazing. Now, LA, and I hear you're from Tampa, sir. How you feel about the Super Bowl, man? How you feel about your city being on fire?
I mean, that should speak for itself. I mean, you know, I mean, who don't want their team to win the Super Bowl while the Super Bowl is in their city and you got the biggest song in the city? Like, that's a blessing. But hey, I told JD this, like, no BS. Like, before he signed me, like, bro, the Bucks gonna win the Super Bowl in Tampa, bro, and we gonna have the biggest song. He was like, they ain't gonna win, but we gonna have the biggest song. But as you can see.
And speaking of your song, 8 Bands, featuring Rick Ross and Jermaine Dupri, can you tell us a little bit about the background of that? What inspired you? How did it come about?
I mean, we were looking for, like, to keep it all the way Florida. So at first, the first I did was Kodak, but he ain't had no verses around, and you feel me? He was going through his legal problems, so we wasn't really tripping about it. But then, and it's like people don't, cause Ross is a legend. Like Ross is like a pioneer in Florida down south music in general. He responsible for a lot of styles, partly my style. So it's like I wasn't really thinking about him for that track because I never heard him on that cadence, on that type of flow. But JD was like, man, I'm telling you, man, we could get Ross. I was like, I'm with it, because, you know, this is my first time doing something like this. I'm like, man, Rick Ross and me, I don't give a damn. We could put him on a Christian song. I'm ready to do it. So when he sent the verse back, 'cause he sent it back fast, because they was like, man, he liked the song, so it's going to be good. When he sent it back, I was like, yeah, he ain't playing. Because, see, I'm the type of person, like, I understand you, Rick Ross, but if I don't like it, I'm like I don't like it. So when they sent it back, I was like, yeah, he ain't play. I was ready to go redo my verse. But it was like, nah, man, it's all right, man. We just going to extend yours and put both of your verses on the song. But that was a good feeling there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Now, let's rewind to the Money Ain't a Thing instrumental you freestyled on. What was your inspiration behind that? Were you aiming when you made it for Mr. Dupri to get on his radar, or what was the inspiration for that how that came about?
Man, that's crazy, man. That, like, it's really like God and just like fate, because I was in the studio with another artist from the city, like a big brother to me, and his name is Tate Bay. He actually signed to Warner Brothers like 2-3 weeks ago, so congrats to him. But we were in the studio, and he was redoing his verse, because I got like a Tampa 8 Bands remix that I couldn't really put out, because, you know, I had done got signed after I did it, and the two artists understand, because, you know, we people, we cool. That's my family. So we were in there recording that verse, and I had like an hour left. He was like, what you finna do? I was like, man, I'm just finna freestyle on this Money Ain't a Thing beat, because I had done heard it on the radio when I was in the ooh, and I was like, man, that's a hard beat. I forgot about that. Like, you know how you hear those songs and it just like bring back memories. So I was like, man, I'm finna rap on it. And when I played in the studio make the beat 10 times harder, because it's like it's real instruments and stuff in that beat. So, you know, real instruments sound different in different speakers, and when I heard it, it's like the words just like was pouring out. So as I was about to record it, Tay was like, man, why you just don't record on your own beats? Like, why you be doing freestyle? I was like, bro, it's just for content, you know, to put on Instagram. Maybe it'll do something. And I mean, it did a whole lot now. So I just be like, man, that's crazy. When I think about it, I be thinking about it all the time, because it's like, it's crazy how I'm actually here right now.
Yeah, that's a blessing, brother. And we appreciate you being here. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the room. We have the legend, Mr. Jermaine Dupri, in the building. We have LA the GOAT in the building, the young legend. And I need everybody to hit the plus button at the bottom right. And I need you to ping about 20 people to this room, because you're doing your friends a disservice by not allowing them to be here and pick up these gems. We have The Source in here. We have Complex in here. Mr. Tyrese Gibson just dropped in. Quincy, welcome. We have a lot of great people in the room. We have Mr. Jermaine Dupri in the room, and LA the GOAT. We are celebrating the sign-in of LA. And LA, now that you're here, now that you're so deaf.
Hey, excuse me. I don't mean to cut you off. What Tyrese that is, from Fast and Furious?
Yes, sir.
Oh, shit. What's up, Tyrese? But go ahead. My bad.
Yes,
little
sir.
Little fan moment.
Oh, you good, brother? Yeah. Mr. Tyrese Gibson is in the building. We got some more. We got some more guests pulling up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not pinging your friends and letting them know what is happening right now, you are officially a hater. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say it just like that. LA the GOAT, you are so deaf, my brother. Congratulations. What is your next goal? You know, can you, now that you're here, the game just started for you. What's on your radar? What's this season looking like? What you preparing for?
Well, musically, I'm just trying to get as good as I can, and you know, me and JD talk about that all the time. You feel me? he helped me. That's why I say, like, he more than a producer. He, like, really like a mentor because, you know, he can rap, he can make beats, he do everything. So it's like I got the best coach, and I'm coachable. That's the key word that a lot of dudes ain't nowadays. Like, they just think they know everything, and you can't know everything. You ain't even been here long enough. So that's how I just look at life. As far as musically, I'm just trying to get as good as I can, and then, you know, another goal I'm trying to buy my mama a house, grandma a house, but you know that's like always a goal for everybody, like to get famous and make sure your people straight. So, you know, that's what I really want to do.
Now, Jermaine Dupri, you're definitely a coach that any player would want to have on their team. And as a coach, what are some of the rules and concepts that you instill in your players, in your artists? What are your own personal goals for their success?
To get to know yourself, you know what I mean? Get to know yourself and to pay attention to the process that we have, you know, together. Because most of the time, you know what I mean, I go down the line with all of my artists until they actually start sitting in that space where they want to start thinking for themselves. They want to start doing a lot of the other things that they have on their mind. So it's really just, you got to pay attention. You know, you pay attention to how you got to that space, and the conversations that we have and the talks that we have. You should pretty much be okay after a certain time. You know what I mean? Like, even with this, like with the LA GOAT situation, with it being virtual, all we can do is talk to each other. You know what I mean? So that means we having more conversations. I might be having more conversations with him about his career than some of the artists that I've been, you know, in present, you know, right in front of, because we talking. That's all we have to do. We talk and we FaceTime and we talk and we, you know what I mean? We just going back and forth about ideas, and I get an idea, I call him. He get an idea, he called me. You know what I'm saying? He hears something he don't like, he called me. Def Jam don't send the money, he called me.
Yeah, you know.
It's you know what I mean? We talking so much, you know, but long as he pays attention to the conversations, because these conversations ain't they are instrumental as far as, and educational to both of us. You know what I mean? Sometimes he called me and he'd be like, JD, you ain't got your ear to the street. And I'm like, nigga, how I ain't got my ear to the street? I signed you off Instagram. You know what I mean? But he be trying to tell me about some other artists that, you know what I mean, that other people ain't paying no attention to, right? And it's like, I never feel like I know nothing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I keep just finding my way through this. Like, so I think that, you know, what we doing and with any artist, long as they listen, and like he said, coachable. Tyrese is in here, and Tyrese being an artist that, one of the artists that I can actually say I sent a demo of myself singing to with my mind saying, man, I pray to God that Tyrese listen to this and hear it the way I hear it, but he sings it the way he sings it. And I'd be damned if he didn't do it. He did exactly what I was thinking, right? And it's like, you know, you got to have people that are coachable. That's all. Like, that's a very important word.
I appreciate your insight on that, sir. I got a few questions from the fans. First and foremost, LA, has Jermaine Dupri put you onto veganism? I know a lot of fans appreciate Mr. Dupri becoming a vegan and being vocal about it. Mr. Dupri, maybe you can shed some light on the transition, how you feel, maybe give the people down below some insight. This is a question that I got a lot from the people. And then maybe LA, what do you think about it?
Hey, I don't knock it, but you feel me? I eat it, but it ain't like I ain't giving up bacon. I'm from Florida. I'm from down south, so you feel me? I was 2 years old when I first ate a chitlin, so I don't know. That's with me. It's gonna be hard to stop. It's gonna be hard.
Hey, we not doing the cauliflower chicken wings?
Nah, oh no, that's disrespectful. But I'm gonna let JD talk.
Oh my God. All right. Which is your question for me? Well, I got into the veganism like I've been vegan going on 15 years now. So, it was just a change I needed to make because I was actually eating Waffle House 2 times a day, every day, with a side of McDonald's and a side of Crystals and a side of Wendy's. Oh, and I can't forget about the Gentleman's Club. So I was eating all of this shit every day. This was what I was eating. This was my everyday routine. And, Monday Night Magic City, y'all know what that is. That's, that's the same. It's like it was so every day. And then like you would leave if you leave the club here in Atlanta, you leave the club and then you go to the Waffle House. Like that's almost like a religion out here. Like after the party is the Waffle House. That's what I said in the remix of Welcome to Atlanta. This is like true life. And you start doing that shit. You do that for 10, 12, 13 years, like religiously. You got to give your body a break, man. Just like, I didn't go into it. I didn't give my body the break thinking that I was going to become a vegan. Cause like he said, I'm from the South. Me becoming a vegan was something that I was not even thinking about. When I heard people talk about being vegan, I kind of felt the same way. I was like, oh, nah, I can't do that. Vegans only eat grass. And, you know what I mean? I had a messed up mindset about veganism. So I wasn't setting out to be a vegan. I was just trying to cleanse my body and have my body actually get in a better state, in a space than where I was headed. And then on top of that, when you start getting a little older, you start thinking about the diabetes that we as Black people continue to keep having in our culture, and how many people in our neighborhoods have died basically from bad food and just eating, every day, bad food every day. And we all we all talk about the itis and we all talk about, the super soul food spot that's in the hood and this, that, and the third. And that shit really be killing people. Like, it's not even like, there ain't no joke behind this. This is people die from this, right? So I just started thinking about that, and I started thinking about how, all I was doing was sitting in the studio and going to the strip club and sitting in the studio, going to the strip club. You just eating and sitting down and eating, and you ain't even really exercising. You just eating. And then the more money you get, you also have this mindset that you're supposed to splurge on food and bigger steaks and go to bigger steak houses and eat. You know what I'm saying? And all that shit lead to weight, and it lead to a space that, a heaviness that I started feeling on my body. And I'm like, man, I'm not really fucking with this, right? So I just started trying to get it off of me. So then I went on a 25-day fast where I didn't eat no food. And when I got to like the 15th day, 16th day, I started asking questions about asking people like, what can I eat once I get to my, last days that'll keep me feeling the way I feel? And nobody could tell me anything besides becoming a vegan. And the way my body felt and as pure as I felt, I was just like, I'm trying to stay like this. And the energy level that I had, I was just trying to capture that and put it in a bottle and just live like that for the rest of my life. And the only thing close to that is becoming a vegan. So here I am.
Wow, I think you just converted a lot of people, brother. Really do. I think that was
not me.
Hey. Maybe it's the barbecue sauce, man. Put some on. Try a different brand on them cauliflower wings, bro. Maybe.
That don't even sound right, man. Cauliflower wings? Are you crazy?
It's actually not bad.
Hey.
LOL.
Hey, I won't knock it till I try it, but you're gonna have to hold me down to try it.
Yes, sir. Welcome, Miss Amber Rose, to the room as well. Welcome, Miss Rose.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Jermaine, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Amber?
What's up?
All right.
Billboard. Thanks for having me, guys.
Turn up.
Thank you for being here, Miss Rose. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are celebrating the signing of LA the GOAT today. We have Mr. Jermaine Dupri in the building, a legend of all legends. Today we are celebrating. It is a party in here. Welcome to the room. I need you guys to invite all of your friends in here. Let them know what is happening. It is special here on Clubhouse. So to keep it going, I do have a few questions from the fans as well. Mr. Dupri, LA the GOAT, I definitely want to get your input as well. So keeping it music related, Mr. Dupri, I know you've been on the beautiful side of this music business, finding artists, making hits, sharing beautiful moments with people, just all of your accomplishments. What can you tell us about maybe the dark side? What can you tell us about your experience with working with people and how you've applied it to your current life and how you're working with artists, maybe the do's and don'ts for artists in this industry, what you have seen win for people and what you have seen also help them lose?
Well, I want to say that I believe my way is the dark side of this thing, because I come to the table with artists that people have no belief in. I come to the table with artists that people to go into a lane that people don't believe in. I come to the table and I keep doing it over and over again. And it's crazy because in most things that we do, the start over process is very evident to us, right? It's like right there in your face. Like if you get $1, right? As soon as you get to 10, you start right back over at the 1 again, right? So that's how my mentality is with these artists. It's like once I get an artist to 10, I leave that artist and go to find my dollar again. I gotta go find that dollar again. That first dollar is the dark side of the music industry, because, I'm up against everything. You know what I mean? I'm up against, you think signing a kid from Tampa Bay, Florida, a rapper from Tampa Bay, Florida in a pandemic is easy? You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit ain't, you can't, and by the way, you can't have a showcase.
I'm sorry. Did we lose you? Might have cut off.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're back.
Yeah, my phone rang. It was no talent show. It wasn't anything that I could physically be like, yo, the tools that we've had to sell artists. Usually you can have an artist, you could be like, yo, I'm coming to New York. I'm gonna bring the artist into the room. We're gonna do the dance and the artist gonna sing and this, that, and the third. Like, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5, they got signed to Motown while he was swimming in the swim pool. They went to his house and he physically saw them. This is a situation, like I said, you can't, I had no opportunity to do any of this. I had to really, really put, I had to really sell it as much as I could, and still getting it to that space, even who I am. That's what I'm saying. Like, even who I am and how many times I've done this, I still had to step into that fire, because he is $1, right? And that to me is something that people should always, be prepared for and never be scared, because we do that in life, period. We just don't look at our everyday life like that, but we do that in everything else. Everything else starts over. You know, every time you count, you always got to go back to one. And that's just my, you know, my advice to people. And that's also, like I said, but doing that is very dangerous. So a lot of people in this music industry, they try to hold on to 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, and kind of stay in that. You can't stay at 10. So people try to hold on to 7, 8, and 9 and try to avoid going back to 1. Me, I'm never scared to go back to 1. I go back to 1 every time.
That's commendable, man. I appreciate your answer on that. Now, LA, a lot of the times whenever I walk into a room, I like to walk into rooms where I leave the room better than I was when I entered it. So now that you've met Mr. Dupri and you guys been in phone calls, having conversations, Zoom calls, crossing ideas back and forth, what can you tell us that you've learned so far having a relationship with Jermaine Dupri, and how it has affected your life and how it has bettered yourself prior to when when you first met him?
I mean, really, it's just like be yourself and stick to what you know. Like, not really stick to what you know, but like stay true to yourself. It's like just because everybody else doing something don't mean you got to be a follower and do it. So, you know, like it's just like that's the key thing. Like when I begin like throw it off track, I'll call him like, man, why we can't drop another song? Why we can't drop an album? None of that. You feel me? Such and such drop. He dropping every day. He like, bro, you got to stick to what we agreed to, because you know what's going to work for us is different for what's going to work for them. So, you know, it's just staying focused.
Now, Mr. Dupri, everybody wants to know, sir, who do you want to go up against in the verses?
It's not really up against, it's not on me to say who I want to go up against. It's whatever. I mean, you know, since it started, I said it's whatever, you know, but I think versus started turning itself into what people want it to be. So, you know, everybody know what they want to see. I wait till it happens.
I like this right here. I like this right here.
You stupid.
Bad boy.
JD, it's Quincy. I like what you're doing. LA the GOAT. What's up with y'all?
Q, what's up with it?
Q, what's going on? Hey, and that's crazy because K Wells, man, him went to school together, and he been knowing y'all since y'all.
Yeah, it is. Yep, that's family.
K Wells. That's my brother.
Pleasure to meet you, Joe. Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you.
JD, what's up, homie?
I'm good, man. How you?
I'm good. Good.
I see you moving around, man. I'm living vicariously through you in this pandemic. You all over the place.
I'm trying, brother. You know, there's a lot of dollars out there. A lot of different ways to get it.
Of course.
Hey, look, I seen JD in here. I wanted to jump in. I just wanted to give everybody like a little context on JD on old Atlanta. You know, I had the pleasure of being able to work with Dallas and with Jermaine. And when I had Jagged, I mean, I don't think people really understand the scope of what you two had going on at such young ages, like ridiculously young ages. And for these guys to be running full labels, full staffs, like people dependent on them for their livelihood, and for those things to grow. And then even beyond that, the things that JD, the things that Dallas touched, and the careers that were set off by the people who came through the systems that they had and put in place. And because they were open and putting young brothers on, young sisters on. And it was part of the magic of Atlanta at the time. And also part of the reason why Atlanta is the great black shining city that it is, because everybody shared. You know, if somebody got a deal, it was like, hey, Atlanta community, bring me your best shit. And that's what made everything great. So I just want to give JD some roses real quick. He was a visionary, understood music at a very high level, at a very young age, and was able to put a lot of people on. And I just wanted to say I appreciated JD because Jagged was the first artist that I managed. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And speaking of innovation, Global 14 was a project that JD was behind many years ago. Really empowered new artists, helped new artists really expose themselves and gain the notoriety in the music game. We fast forward now to 2021, and he signed LA the GOAT via Instagram and through the hype of freestyles and his music. Signed him in a pandemic. Never met him in, never worked with him in the studio in person, but really this all happened through the internet space. And with that being said, Mr. Dupri, now with your experience with Global 14, and now we're in 2021 on Clubhouse where people have a voice and can be heard, what kind of gems can you give these the youth? What can you explain and help the youth with as far as information on how to make it, or really how to work on their craft and get to somebody like you?
Well, I would say if anybody does what I did with LA by signing him like this, I think that the most important part, or the most important thing for young artists and up and coming artists and unsigned artists at this point is to just continuously practice, continuously sharpen your blade. Because at this point, just like Clubhouse, you don't even know who's in this room. You know what I mean? And I think with all of this, with all of these apps and all of this, you don't know who's actually here. Like what LA just did, what he said, Fast and Furious Tyrese. Like, you see the names, but you still don't, if it's not your friend or it's not somebody you really, really cool with, you still don't actually know if that's that person, right? So you got to be ready, more ready than prior to, when I was younger, because now people are looking, and people are, and very important people are paying attention to this, these highways and these ways of doing things now. So for anybody that really is trying to really be serious about being an artist, you should just sharpen your craft as sharp as you can, and take every day to get better, because you never know when that person is going to hit you and be like, yo, I like what you're doing. You know what I mean? It could be me. It could be somebody else. It just, you don't never know when that happens. And, like I said, the thing about LA is he sent me he had his people hit me about a freestyle. He didn't even hit me about 8 bands. He wasn't even trying to promote his music to me. So once I went and checked on him, I saw this kid was way better than the freestyle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you have something, you just gotta be prepared.
I appreciate that answer. Welcome, Just Blaze. Welcome to the chat. Welcome, Jay Prince Jr., Tony De Niro. Welcome, everybody. We are here with the legend himself, Mr. Jermaine Dupri. We are here with the young legend, LA the GOAT. We're having a very, very intimate, deep conversation about making it in this business. LA was discovered through Instagram by Mr. Dupri. They have never worked in the studio. They're actually about to work in the studio for the first time. And it's just very interesting to me to hear how you guys really connected through this digital age that we are living in right now. We're all in a pandemic, and you guys are really giving fuel to the fire of many people in this room. You are inspiring many, many young artists to go harder and reinvent themselves. First and foremost, congratulations to Mr. Dupri being in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. LA, anytime, sir. Appreciate you for all that you've done for this culture, for the people, for many decades. LA, what are some of your goals and accomplishments that you would like to receive especially being mentored by somebody who has literally done it all in the music game?
I mean, shit, basically just be successful. You know, that's the ultimate goal when you grow up in the hood. You trying to make it so your people don't got to go through that shit and your kids and shit. So that's just like the real goal, like overall, like now that I got the look and I got the deal and everything, now it's time to try to make these millions. So, like my little sister, I mean, got to grow up in the ghetto. My son, I mean, got to grow up in the hood and shit.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. That's a bar. Mr. Just Blaze, welcome, sir. How are you?
Salute, I'm good. Just listening in. Congrats to JD. It looks like it's going to be another successful venture. And welcome to Clubhouse, good bro.
Thank you. Just Blaze.
My man.
So we didn't sell you on the veganism, LA, not yet?
Nah, man, I told you, bro. I'm from Florida. I'm from like the bottom of the South, bro. That's all we eat is fucking pork and chicken and steak and shit like that.
We're not doing carrot ribs.
Man, I wish you might come to my grandma's house talking about some carrot ribs. She gonna cuss you out like you a man. Shit.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. What are some artists that you look up to, LA? You know, what are some guys that you idolize or just kind of learn the game from as a fan of the culture and music?
All right. Well, as far as like that got me to rapping, cause I like the R&B growing up. Cause you know my mom used to clean up with the speakers and shit, playing like Anita Baker, Sade, Selena Johnson. The list goes on. So like I grew up having to listen to that and just like, man, it sounds good. So, but like what actually wanted me to start rapping was Lil Snoop. And God rest his soul, that was Meek Mill artist. But I seen how he was freestyling. And I used to be doing that on my hood, like in my block and at the little talent shows around the neighborhood and shit. So, you know, once I seen him get a deal, I'm like, oh shit, well, this shit possible. And then like ever since then, I just been going hard.
Yes, sir. Now, Mr. Dupri, what about some of your mentors, brother? I mean, I know you're a mentor to many, but who are some of the people you look up to, even today or throughout your career?
Teddy Riley, you know, first, you know, if anybody know me, they got to know that Teddy Riley is, you know, he's been my idol since I first heard Teddy Riley or whatever he was doing. And it was him that really made me think about consecutiveness. Like, it was a time when Teddy had made this record. What's the name of the song? Some of what he's telling about the New Jack. He talking about. I think it's the New Jack Swing. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's called New Jack Swing.
Yeah, it's called
New Jack Swing.
Yeah, where he says, I made the New Jack Swing. And he talks about all of the artists that he basically had produced. And he said, I made Venom Man, Redhead, Keith Sweat. Like, he named 20 artists. I had never heard nobody do no shit like this. This is a producer. I'm like, yo, wait a minute. And when I heard him, that's what made me start wanting to do multiple artists. As a producer, you know, I didn't even have, you know, I had one group at the time. But hearing him say this and the way he was doing it and the flashiness of being a producer, I got that from Teddy Riley. Like, he made producing and the art of making music more special than it actually is. He made me want to be a producer. Like, I don't want to be Aaron Hall. I want to be able to say that, right? So Teddy Riley off top was that person for me. Quincy Jones and Berry Gordy. These three people, I try to like morph these three people into one person, and that's who I try to believe that's who I am. And I take pieces, you know, from things that I've seen or heard them do and talk about, and just and a lot of this, like I said, a lot of this was just me listening and like, you know, virtually. I never met them. It was just me like listening to their stories and seeing them. And also Herbie Lovebug. Herbie Lovebug was another person that what he was doing with Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play, Kwame, Sweet Tea. He was another one that was like making artists and go from one artist to the next artist and making and creating a camp. So between Herbie and Teddy, that's what I started looking at. Like, I want So Def to be like this. I want to make, you know, I had a group. My first group was called Silk Times Leather, and they was signed to, I got them signed to Geffen Records. And it was a female rap group. So, you know, I was looking at Finesse and Sequist, Salt and Pepper, like I said, Sweet Tea. I'm trying to think of the other female. Latifah was out at that time, you know, just coming out with records, Light. So I saw those artists, and I was trying to move in that space. But being from the South, it was really, really hard. Coming from Atlanta and having a female rap group. Didn't nobody want to hear that shit at all. The records I was making weren't up to par, you know, with all the other artists that was out. So, you know, I just learned. I kept going through it, but I never dropped the focus on these people that I was looking at, and I kept up there. And I think that's something that a lot of younger artists should do too as well. Like, have role models, have people that you know that you try to, like, their life. You don't do exactly what they do, but they guide you through your journey by some of the things that you've seen and you read, like almost like how Kobe did with Jordan. I know a lot of people talk about how, you know, he was too close to Jordan, but he wasn't Jordan. You know, he was Kobe, and he became his own. He became the Mamba. But everything that he did to get on that page to become the Mamba, he got from Mike. And he, you know what I mean, every piece of it. And he never shied away letting everybody know. And that's the same way with me. I never shy away. You know, I have people making jokes like, damn, nigga, you look like Teddy Riley. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you feel, you know what I mean? That's my dude. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is.
Yes, sir. Now, I personally would like to know, and I received this from multiple fans, Mr. Dupri, did you have a work relationship with Aaliyah, and is there any artists that you wish to work with in the past or would love to work with today outside of LA the GOAT and signing him?
Yeah, I did have a working relationship with Aaliyah. Real strange. It's a very strange, not strange in a strange like the word strange, but just like a weird way of how we started working on multiple records. One, Aaliyah was like a homegirl that, you know, I think they used to have this like Gab line where people could get almost what this is, Clubhouse, but it was like Gab. Y'all remember Gab? People get on the phone, like multiple people on the phone, phone lines, and it used to be me, Dallas. Me and Dallas used to be on this shit, and we'd be talking to Kadada Jones, and Aaliyah be on the line with us, and we all just became like friends before I actually started working with her. But she came to my house. She came to my house while I was doing Crisscross Young, Rich, and Dangerous album. And I had just finished Live and Die for Hip Hop right when she arrived at my house. But, you know, the Regina Bell part, I was like, yo, I need a female to sing this. And I didn't have no female like right in my face at the time. And then while I'm saying this, Aaliyah's walking in my house. And I'm like, damn, I'm going to see if I wonder if she'll do this for me. So I was shyly asked her if she'll sing this part on this Crisscross record. And, cause I thought she was going to be like, nah, I'm cool. I ain't fuck with that. But she did it. Right. And, you know, it's crazy because you never know what history is going to be. I never knew what was going to happen. You know, Leah was going to turn into be what she turned out to be. And then, you know, what tragically happened. But she did the part, And, you know, out of nowhere, I ended up having a crisscross record featuring Aaliyah, myself, and the Brat. And, you know, it's just crazy because it wasn't even planned like that. She just happened to be at my house and I needed somebody to do the part and she was there. So it's crazy. And it's, you know, I never got a chance to even really like celebrate it with her, talk to her about it, but it's wild. It's a wild, one of my wild stories.
Well, we appreciate you being open, sir. We really do. LA, I just got a text from my boy DJ Head. He's on stage with us. He said he just spin your record out here in LA on 92.3 The Beat. Your record is on fire. 8 bands featuring Rick Ross and Jermaine Dupri.
Yo, Kiarash, appreciate you. Real 92.3.
Yes, sir. Real 92.3.
Thank you, DJ Head. Thank you, bro.
Yes,
Always
sir.
All good.
LA, now that you on fire, sir, you know, you are here. You are signed to Jermaine Dupri. You're So Def. Your Def Jam. You are on fire. What collaborations are you looking forward to? What are things that you are manifesting, really just putting out there, and working on to happen in your career? What are the next steps, next collabs, goals that you have?
Well, JD know every time he asks me like who I want on the record, it'd be Anthony Hamilton out the gate, cause like that was on Barbershop. Like all the movies that I watched as a kid coming up, like he got his movie on Barbershop, Hardball, stuff like that. So it's like I've been an Anthony Hamilton fan. Lauryn Hill. It's not like more so of like these newer artists. I don't have nothing against them. Like if we work and we connect, then that's cool. But it's like my dream like features and stuff is like eccentric, like Big Boy Under 3000, just stuff like that.
I appreciate that, man. JD, what are your goals for LA?
Really, I mean, my main goal is to break him. You know what I mean? Like I know people probably been seeing me do that and say, you know, the art of breaking a new artist. I've been hashtagging that. Because this is to break a new artist. As many times as I've broken new artists is not easy. You know what I'm saying? And it's even harder in this era right now because you have people that are like openly saying that record companies don't do artist development anymore. Like everybody that works at record companies, I hear them saying this. There ain't no more artist development. There ain't no more artist development. It's like so crazy to me, right? So to go against that win and bring an artist in where I'm actually doing artist development and I'm talking to the artist and we going over and we doing things that has broken artists in the past. It's a difficult thing. Like I said, it's back at that dollar, that $1, but that's my ultimate goal. And, you know, and I won't. And when I say break him, I mean, get from that dollar to number 10. Once I get to 10, then, you know, I start over with somebody else, but I won't stop until I get to 10. That's my goal with LA.
Well, y'all on fire with 8 bands. The single from LA, The GOAT, featuring Rick Ross and Jermaine Dupri. How does it feel, Mr. Dupri, to be in the Songwriters Hall of Fame? And another question for you is, because you've written so many hits, have so many number ones, so many top 10s, and just put your hands on so many projects throughout these years, what's easier for you to write, hip hop or R&B?
Well, first, I think the Songwriters Hall of Fame for me is everything, because that's ultimately who I see myself as. I'm a songwriter, and I see myself as a songwriter more than probably half of the people in this room see me as a songwriter. You know, like it be bugging me out when I be hearing records and hearing people sing songs and they be right beside me and they don't actually know that I wrote all the lyrics, right? They know that I produced the songs, but they be singing songs and they miss, a lot of times people miss most of all of that, right? Like say for instance on the Usher, Nice and Slow record, right? Somewhere in the story of Nice and Slow, it got conceived that Jagged Edge wrote the song, right? And it was more or less like people stopped thinking about me as the songwriter. And I've had a bunch of interviews like this a bunch of times. And I use this song because this was Usher's first #1 top 100 record. And most, like, one of the most sung Usher records that there is. But I wrote the entire song. The part that Jagged Edge wrote was the part, I'll freak you right, I will. I freak you like no one has ever made you feel. That back part of the song is where Jagged came in, because I felt like I had ran out of ideas. And, you know, I called Brandon and Brian to the studio, because they're amazing writers. And this was at the end of the mix. I was actually mixing the record, and I felt like we needed something else in that song. And they came and added those parts, and they took, you know, that part actually took the song, took us on out, and I needed that part. But just the overall framework of the record, it's many people that don't know, like, that I really be writing these songs. Like I said, Tyrese is in the room, and he's one of the artists that actually has performed from listening to me sing songs. But just like, people don't really understand that part of it. So like, winning or being inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame is everything for me, because it was a room full of people that's just like me. We're not the greatest singers. We're not the greatest at all of this. We know how to do it, and we know how to do it well enough to give it to somebody else, to let them do it at the greatest level that they can do it. So to be in a room full of those people, that made my day.
Hey, JD, you know, I know the songwriter splits on that, and Jack got a really small percentage. So facts, y'all. JD wrote all that song. They got a real small percentage of that, but yeah, man.
Also, JD, what do you think is easier to write, sir? Hip hop or R&B for you?
Well, for me, it's like a headache, right? It's like when you have when I get tired of rap music, R&B is 100% easy for me. That's why I keep going back and forth. Like when I put out Crisscross, and Crisscross was so big and Jump was doing what it was doing, the loudness of it and the fear of me not being able to duplicate Crisscross also drove me in the direction of escape, because I'm like, I don't believe I can do this again. And you get to a space where people are actually looking at you and testing you to see if you can do it again. I don't know if Jeff Blaze is still in here, but as a producer, this is something that it's difficult. It's difficult to duplicate musical success. It's difficult to duplicate hip hop success 100%. You know, you might get a hip hop record like OPP, and you can't, you know, not that they didn't. They kept trying, you know, Naughty by Nature, they figured it out. They kept coming with them. But the most of these artists out here, they get a record that's that big, they can't follow up. And that, you know, the balloon that's that big, that's blown up at that point, people are looking for you to do that again. And then when you don't do it, the letdown and the way people treat you because you couldn't do it again is ridiculous. So and me paying attention to Teddy and paying attention to all the other producers prior, it drove me to saying, like, you got to switch. You got to give yourself a free space so that you can be as creative as you can and not have to deal with, you know, what you was already dealing with. So when I came with Escape after Crisscross, the only thing that I had to deal with was the fact that people were saying, Jermaine, you just came with a #1 rap record. You putting out an R&B group, so people had their doubts. But that's as far as it went right there. People they definitely didn't believe, but I'm not afraid of you not believing in me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing. So when I get a headache, I usually switch and go go back and forth. So that's why if you look at my career, it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because I start getting if I get a brain freeze and I don't feel like I'm moving forward in one area, I just switch my whole shit and start going into the R&B direction or hip hop, whichever way.
We appreciate the inside information. I just have a few more questions. We appreciate everybody's attendance. We've reached thousands of people in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, please ping your friends to this room and get them in here. Let them enjoy the experience as you guys are. You guys have been here with us the whole time. LA the GOAT. Let's talk about your writing process, sir. You hear about artists like Jay-Z and these inspirational artists that's groundbreaking, not writing their lyrics and just coming off the top of their head in the studio. What about your writing process? How long have you been writing? What is that process like? And what do you feel like you can improve on?
Well, I mean, I haven't wrote in I want to say 9 months. Since 8 bands. Yeah, so it's been that long. So I don't write either because, I kind of got into the groove of that because I used to go to LA and shout out to YSL, that whole camp. But especially Lil Duke, which is Young Thug's label and his artist. But he kind of took me under his wing. And I used to just go to LA and just record with him and see Young Thug and Chris Brown record and the things they do. And how they do it. So it's I do a lot of punching in. So, it's just for me, when I record and put out music, it's just the vibe. So if I'm in the studio and we got a chill vibe, there's some vibes around hanging out, I'm going to be more soft spoken and chilling. But if it's me and my dogs and we end up chilling, drinking, smoking, then, that's when you get the more aggressive music. It's just the vibe.
Okay. Now, JD, if you could tell us, you've been so instrumental in a lot of careers, man, and hands-on with a lot of hits. But can we hear some of your top favorite songs that you've been hands-on with and why?
You mean songs that I did?
Yes, sir.
I think I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna say this Drew Hill remix first. Because I feel when I did the Drew Hill remix, the record was already #1, right? The Sleeping in My Bed original version was already #1. It was a #1 record. And they just wanted to extend the life of the record. They wanted to extend the life and just keep the song around. They didn't know what the remix was gonna be, and most of the time people were doing remixes the way Mariah was doing remixes. But I had started doing this back before, but just to actually redo the whole song, and just do it in a way that made people think it was a completely different record, right? Was me stepping, I'm talking about completely stepping out in the middle of the board, on a ship, and just putting my chest out there, I'm gonna make this shit and do it, right? It was a challenge to get it to even get to that space. But that one record, the way that it changed the scope of people listening to that song, and the way that it changed, the song, the remix then went #1. I had never seen that happen before, ever. Right? The original record was #1. Then the remix came out, and this was before they started counting the records as one. So when the remix came out, it was like another song. You understand what I'm saying? Especially because the music was different. So if you change the music of a song, the way Billboard was posting these records, it would almost go up as another record. Even though it was the same song, it was a remix, it went up as another song. So once it went up as another song, the remix went #1. Now, that, to me, that blew me away because I never expected to even see that happen, right? That was crazy. And the way the song was recorded, the only person that came to the studio the night that we did the remix was Cisco. So something I don't think no one's ever talked about is all the vocals on Sleeping in My Bed remix is Cisco. Every last line.
Yo, that's very, very dope information, sir. Now, I want to ask you a specific question. I want to ask both you guys, for both Jermaine and LA. First, Jermaine Dupri. Mr. Dupri, you have experience so much. You've been involved so much in hip hop. You've seen the decades, the evolution of hip hop. And, you know, compared to the 90s, then we went to the 2000s, and hip hop has grown and altered a little bit. The South took over, and now we passed 2010 and the social media era. And now that we're in kind of like, I kind of want to say this is like the desperate phase of hip hop, where a lot of artists are doing any and everything possible for notoriety, for fame, for, you know, just to be noticed. You know, they're dissing people. We got artists like 6ix9ine just doing the most. It's a real viral.
Yeah,
era.
we don't bring him up, man.
Oh, no
6ix9ine. Yeah, man. Because it just leads into other conversations. We don't even want to talk about it.
Yes, sir. No, all due respect to that. So let's keep it about just artists in general going viral now. You know, instead of being in the booth and in the studio working on the craft, they're at home figuring out how I'm gonna go viral, what I got to do next to be viral. How am I gonna make a name for myself and get followers and likes, versus making art. Now, Mr. Dupri, you didn't see artists from the beginning of this beautiful culture to where we're at today. What is your opinion on how hip hop has got to this point, how it's grown? I would like to know.
Well, honestly, and I think one of the questions that you asked me that I didn't answer about who I would want to work with, and if there's anybody in this era that I want to work with, I came up in a time where Atlanta wasn't cool. Nobody was fucking with Atlanta. Nobody wanted to be from Atlanta. Nobody was trying to come to Atlanta. None of that shit. So the way Atlanta is now, I'm sure people probably can't even understand what I'm saying. Like, nobody was fucking with Atlanta. To say I'm from Atlanta sounded crazy, right? So with that being said, I came up with a chip on my shoulder that I didn't want to work with anybody. I came up saying I want to create. And I feel like, you know, answering the second part of your question, I feel like the industry's always been where it is. Nothing that we are doing or anything that people are doing now is any different than what's already been going on. It's just more, you know, it's amplified because of social media, and it's amplified in different ways because of people duplicating it over and over again, right? So, like I said, for me, when I first came into this music industry, it was people out here that was doing the clout chasing hip hop and doing things and trying to get people to pay attention to them, right? But I took the dark road and I decided I'm gonna create my own artist. And at a time that I did that, like I said, that's what people were doing. That was the noise, right? That was the noise. So now when I look at it now, it's just the other side has the noise right now. But I feel like it's never been different. It's just what do people want to follow in this era of time? And most of the time, you know, most of the people, they're following what they feel like is helping them get success faster than the work, right? Like what Julian was saying when he's talking about me in Dallas. I grew up trying to mimic Russell Simmons, right? I saw Def Jam. I'm like, shit, I'm so deaf. He got an office. He a black man. He got an office full of employees. Why can't I do that? I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna get a record company. I'm gonna get a building. I don't want no fucking little studio. Like, I wasn't thinking about none of that. I was looking at everything that was huge. Like, Russell Simmons had a whole building full of employees. So what did Jermaine Dupri do? He went and got a whole building and got 30, 40 employees. I was doing the exact same thing. So it's really about what people are paying attention to and how much belief they have in themselves, right? Like I said before, Teddy Riley, he was telling people he had multiple artists, and Herbie Lovebug was showing me he had Kid Play, and so it was a thing to create. That was the thing that was being put in my face. Like, you ain't really shit if you're not being creative, if you're not creating something, right? And I think that it's not hard for that to change in this era that we're in right now. It's just not. It's not enough people actually doing that. It's not enough people showing on a day-to-day basis the work ethic that it takes to get to where you want to get to. You know, everybody want to show you that they on the beach, and niggas want to show you they in the studio. I posted this the other day. I said, well, who actually doing the work? When do we see people on Instagram showing a plan? When do we see people on Instagram inside an actual meeting or showing Zoom calls of them having conversations to try to create something? You don't see none of that shit. You see niggas driving cars, you see niggas on the beach, and you see niggas in the studio. So the work part of this industry, to me, is at an all-time low. But it's not that it's not happening. You have people that are in these offices. That's just not the thing that people are seeing. So when I see it now, I don't really pay too much attention to it, because I feel like we've always had characters in hip hop, and we've always had characters in, you know, when I signed Criss Cross, Tim Dog, I don't know if people in here remember, Tim Dog was a guy that was dissing. He dissed DMX. He was dissing everybody. You know what I mean? He was going crazy. So it's been here. If you're a real hip hop person, you understand that this has been here, but just what's being shined and what people are paying attention to, that we don't see that. And we need to see that more.
Now, what about you, LA the GOAT? LA, I want to ask you about, you know, this new era of hip hop. I know you're part of the new era, but what is your outlook on what some of these artists are doing for notoriety and fame compared to what you do, and how you differentiate yourself from them?
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I was raised different. I was raised by OGs and players. So, you know, it's going to be different from what they believe in. Like my big homies ain't never told me, oh, post these guns, or we finna post all this money and shit. We getting, nah, that ain't how you move. When you like really, so basically I just treat the rap game how I kind of do the streets. I stay to myself and I get my money and I just mind my business, because if not, you gonna be taken as a joke, because it ain't nothing but a circus out there. So you feel me? Like, I ain't mean no disrespect when I had cut y'all about the 6ix9ine shit, but it's like I don't even want to bring it up, because it's like once you bring it up, it goes on and on and on until that's a topic, and that's how he keeping the notoriety and the views and shit. You gotta just act like shit like that don't exist, because if not, you'll be going through it all day. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just like nowadays people think that's the quickest way to blow. Cause I got young niggas from my hood and they like, man, shit, if we get into it, these niggas and kill them, we could put it on a song and then, but I'm trying to show them like that ain't the way you got to do it. You can still be a cool nigga and niggas still respect you. You just gotta have values. You gotta just understand shit more. You gotta think before you do shit. Like, of course, if I'm that nigga, niggas gonna want my spot. So niggas gonna say shit all day. Niggas gonna, you feel me, run their mouth. They gonna at you and all that. But guess what? Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words. So you feel me? It's like, if you ain't physically finna cause no harm, man, I'll let you talk till your lips fall off.
Yeah, as they said, elephants don't swat flies.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. So I want to definitely get a few questions from the people on stage as well. I want to manifest, just to put it out there, I want to manifest that versus, man. I'm looking forward to a Jermaine Dupri versus.
Talk to him.
That'll be pretty interesting. But it'll be pretty cool, man. Just for the culture one time,
Come
on. In LA, congratulations, brother. I commend you for breaking the barriers and getting on the radars of moguls and real energy going on by being persistent with your music, getting on the radar of Mr. Jermaine Dupri, getting signed in a pandemic. Like, y'all ain't even worked in the studio yet. You've been in Zoom calls and in DMs. You done got signed to a major label, working with a legend. Congratulations to all your success so far. I'm wishing you way more success. Your single is on fire. 8 bands, LA the GOAT featuring Rick Ross and Jermaine Dupri. I just wish many blessings on you, sir. And I hope longevity, good health, much success for you, your family, as well as Mr. Dupri and all that he does and all that he's done for people. It's just very commendable. And I salute you both, honestly.
Thank you.
Yes,
appreciate you.
Yes, sir, man.
JD, I love you. JD, I love you, man. You're a legend. You're an icon. You're my hero. I love you, bro.
My
Congratulations on everything.
I love you too, my boy. You know that.
Yes, sir. Now,
Black tie
in the building. Mr. Dupri is in the building. We have some amazing guests today. We got some people on stage. If y'all got a question or two before we close this thing out and send these two gentlemen off to much more success, feel free. The stage is yours.
I don't have a question, but I have something to reveal about LA. JD, I don't know if you know, but LA has a secret talent. And I think we all discovered it in Tampa a few weeks ago. You know where I'm going with this, right? So JD, we in the club, we're chilling. I'm with Fresh, we're just hanging out, regular shit. So the DJ goes to the bathroom, and me and Fresh turn around, and guess who's behind the turntables DJing for the first time in his life?
Oh my God.
yeah, now you talking about, oh, yo, God, I rocked that motherfucker.
That was my next point. That was my next point. He bodied the shit, JD. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God! Don't get this dude no more. Don't get a dude more gas, man.
Man, listen, you already know we talked, JD. I'm gonna be an actor, a fucking DJ, R&B singer, all that, bro.
Yo, man, that shit was.
Yo, Mozzie, what's his DJ name?
Yo, his DJ. I think it just should be DJ LA to go.
Nah,
that's a long.
I need a
long ass name.
LA the DJ.
Nah. Child support chasing LA to go. We gotta have another name for the DJ.
LA the GOAT DJ.
Yeah, we gotta switch it up. DJ Earl or something.
All the rappers want to take our jobs, bro. That shit's crazy.
Nah, man.
Yes, sir. The stage is open for anybody that'd like to ask a question. Maybe DJ Head or anybody on here. Feel free. Go ahead.
DJ Head, he's coming for your job, by the way.
Hey, man, what up? Me up. I just want to ask a quick question. I am not in the music industry, so this is going to be more of a political question for Jermaine. I just want to ask you, how do you think, I'm more in the political spectrum, so how do you think hip-hop has really influenced politics now and getting people involved? We saw what happened in Georgia. That's your place. That's your home. So we saw what happened there, how Stacey Abrams really led a grassroots effort to turn the election around in Atlanta. And I just want to see and just know, how do you think we can continue that movement using the entertainment industry?
I think this time that this period of time that we went through, the 2020 era, I think it made everyone realize that hadn't realized how important the hip hop voice is. Period. I know people. I've heard people think that the hip hop voice only caters to the hip hop audience, and then those that don't listen to that hip hopper, they don't pay attention to what that person is saying. But I feel like social media and everything amplified that even more. And I feel like people like myself, we took chances to put politics in front of people and in front of audiences with huge numbers, like no other before. Before Stacey Abrams in the beginning of Stacey Abrams even running for the governor, I did Social Def 25th anniversary at the arena here in Atlanta, and I had 20,000 people sold out, right? And before I performed Welcome to Atlanta, I put Stacey Abrams in my show, where I put a video in, where a video came on and it talked to the crowd, and then she came out and she spoke to people. And a lot of people didn't even understand what I was doing when I did that. And I feel like that's we have the reach. We have the reach. People are paying attention to hip hop more. And as long as you have people like myself and people, T.I. and Killer Mike and the people that's out here that really have numbers of people that's going to pay attention, and you use that, you're going to continue to see the dominance of what hip hop can do, just, entertainment period, for politics.
Thank you for that.
JD, what up? It's De Niro. Hey, one of my favorite joints of yours is Money Ain't a Thing. Is there a story behind that, how that came about?
Well, yeah. Money Ain't a Thing probably would have never gotten made. It probably would have been a different song if Hov didn't say in the beginning, "I'm deep in the South." That line, "deep in the South," is what drove me to say I was going to use the money in a thing part. And it's crazy because he was on a plane coming to Atlanta. I had no idea what we was going to do, but I knew he was coming. I started making the beat, but I had no lyrics or nothing in my mind of how the song was going to go. I got in the car and I'm like, I'm going to put my Jay-Z music on. So I'm really, entrenched in this when he get in the car. So I put on Can't Knock the Hustle on the way to the airport. Now, mind you, Tony, Atlanta, I stayed on Old National Highway at the time. So that ain't that far for that song. I got that song playing. It do me enough to get right there where I could pick him up. And as I'm driving, I heard that's the line I kept paying attention to, "deep in the South." I'm like, why would he say that? I know why he said it, but I'm like, damn, okay. So that line drove me to the money in the thing part, and that's how we got there. So once I pulled up to the side, picked him up, he got in the car, I told him right then and there, I like, yo, this the idea I want. But I ain't had that idea 5 minutes before I said that to him.
What car did you pick him up in? What kind of car did you pick him up in?
I had a black Allure. Wait a minute. Yeah. I had a black Continental T. So it was a two-door Continental T.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might not know what I'm talking about, but those that know.
Yeah. My bad. So we good? Somebody else had a question?
No. Yeah, I'll ask you a question if it's cool. This is AP down here.
I was going to.
Let's ask two more questions, and then we're going to close this thing out. Go for it, AP.
Okay. Yeah, Jermaine, first off, love having you on the app, man. It's going to be dope. I'm definitely going to, tap in with you and your movement. I just wanted to talk about Allie Willis for a minute. She was my mentor for quite some time, and she had brought you up that, you guys had talked about doing some music and things like that. Obviously, she wrote September by Earth, Wind & Fire and a bunch of other songs. I just wanted to know, about her legacy, your thoughts and views about who she was as a songwriter.
Well, at the Songwriters Hall of Fame, I met her, right? And I I was blown away by the fact that she wrote these songs. And that's why I was telling this story early tonight about the Songwriters Hall of Fame, because this was the first time I was actually in a room with people that I didn't know wrote the songs, right? You always think that, you think you know who wrote these songs, but then you actually find out it's somebody that you never would have even thought wrote the song. And the fact that I was born in September, that's one of my, one of my favorite songs. That's one of my favorite songs by Earth, Wind & Fire. But the fact that the lyrics, period, and just her writing, and I was like, yo, you know what? I want to do a session. I want you to come to Atlanta.
She told me that.
I want to write with you. I want to, and what's crazy is I had an after party, right? I had an after party. I had a lot of bottles. I think I had, Moet had sponsored my after party, and everybody had Magnums. She came. She had Magnum. We had a great time. It blew me away because I didn't get a chance to work with her. I wanted to, because I wanted to just go in the studio and I wanted to do the music, and I wanted to see what she would write to my music, and I knew it was going to be something special. But that's one of the things I hate that didn't happen. But yeah, she's amazing songwriter.
Yeah, Jermaine, I just want to let you know, I was the last artist to work with her, man. She actually discovered me in a bar in Detroit, and she flew me out to LA, and I ended up writing about 3 songs with her that are unreleased. But man, that was one of my favorite stories of her. She told me a lot of stories about her life, but man, she told me about how she met you and about how excited she was that y'all were going to work. Obviously, rest in peace, man, to Allie Willis.
Totally.
But she was definitely, you were definitely a huge influence, and I just appreciate you, taking this time to answer the question, man. Much love.
Thank you for even telling me that, because like I said, I never would have thought I was an influence to her. She wrote September, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I wrote no song like September. That the staying power of that song is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? So, God rest her soul, and thank you for that story.
Absolutely, man. Much love.
All right, DJ Head, go for it, DJ Head.
Yo, what up, JD? So I remember when you came to the station out here, and you took the time like you did now to like sit down and powwow. And I remember bringing up to you the fact I'm a LA. Everybody know here on the stage, but I rep LA hard, bro. So I always appreciated. I think I told you this to your face, but I always appreciated you using different tempo in your music. And I have a theory that that's kind of what made you stand out before. But like I was listening the whole time when you said Atlanta, it wasn't really cool to be from Atlanta in the music industry. But I think what made you kind of break through and stand out is the fact that you wasn't afraid to play with tempo, because in New York, what they were doing with the hit makers, with the Hitmen and Puff and all them, they was all up tempo. And then out here, we had our shit, but it was still 90 to 100 BPM, 90 to 105, etc. So I have a theory that that's kind of what made your sound stand out. So I kind of want to know if you agree with me, one, and then two, if that was intentional, you playing with tempo.
Nah, what's crazy is that I do pay attention to tempo so much. I mean, LA could probably contest it. We done had a million conversations about 8 bands and why I feel like 8 bands is what it's doing now, and how I feel like it's gonna be even bigger, because male rappers right now are only rapping at like 89 to 92 maybe beats per minute at the most, and it's not faster, it's definitely slower, right? And then you got all these female rappers like Sweetie and Mulatto and the City Girls and all of them. They got records that's at 100 beats. That's, as a male in this same space, you actually start covering a space that's missing from a male perspective. And yes, most of the time when I make records, I pay heavy attention to that. I pay close attention to what the DJs are playing and what the DJs are not playing, as well as what's missing. When I put out the Social Debt Bass All Stars, I was nervous that none of y'all was gonna fuck with that because the tempo was, 125, 135 beats per minute, and it was just a sound from Atlanta in the South that I felt like I had to do, even if nobody even fuck with it. But people did fuck with it, and I'm thankful. But I was really nervous about that one. But I still was like on the same vibe, but just paying attention to the tempo. So you actually right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
For sure. Do you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah.
I think JD's limited for time, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, okay.
Hey JD, I just want to say thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. This Billboard baby. You allowed me to get on your record. You did a so deaf woman cipher.
Yeah.
You put your beat out there. I was the first person to jump on it. You kept your word. You came to New York. You put 4 female artists on. Allowed them to perform at as SOBs. You brought them to the radio station. I got my opportunity to rap, man. I killed the shit. I bodied it. I just want to say thank you for speaking up for, that diversity within women in entertainment and rap music in general. I appreciate you, everything that you're doing from the brat to now, man. Facts, man. Appreciate you, man. Salute.
Thank you.
And real quick, I'm gonna keep it real fast. Yo, JD, this Slick 2-3, man. Just want to let you know, bro. Like, I had the opportunity to work with you with Jagged Edge Project Hope back in the day, for your dad, Michael Malden. And, a lot of people don't realize it, bro, but you are very instrumental in the success of, the culture of Atlanta rising to where it is today. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like you did that, you know what I mean? And you deserve your flowers for that, all day, every day. You feel me? And I'm proud that I was able to work with you, work side by side with you on that project, man. I look forward to doing it again one day here too.
Appreciate it. Thank you. You in Tampa now, right?
No, I'm still in Atlanta, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I appreciate everybody being here. Mr. Jermaine Dupri, we love you, man. We appreciate all that you've done for the culture. We appreciate the honorable man you are and for the lives of those you have impacted. Today we celebrate LA the GOAT, the newest addition to So Def. And Mr. Dupri discovered him via social media, which is very groundbreaking. They will be working in the studio for the first time next week. LA, we appreciate you, sir, for being here, young legend. You are inspiration to a lot of artists. There's been thousands of people that came into this room tonight to hear you speak. And we commend you as well. We salute you. Thank you for being here, sir.
Appreciate you, man. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir, man. And congratulations to your current success and all the success that is coming forward. Thank you. Thank you both. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody that joined the room to hear, hear these conversations. And like I said, this is the work, like people, it's really crazy to me because I never thought about becoming legendary or becoming a person that people think about and talk about the way that they do. So I always just focus on work. When I find an artist, like I said, I'm always just doing what I've always done. So I just want people, hopefully if people are paying attention to this and they thinking about trying to maneuver in different ways, show the work, man. Show people that you really, really about your work. Show people that you really about getting up in the morning and going to take care of your business and doing what you got to do. You'll definitely see a difference in all of this shit. It might not look like everything that's happening. It might not get a whole bunch of likes. You might not get a whole bunch of people that are pouring behind it, and you see this other shit that's going on. But just know it's going to be somebody that's watching you work. It's going to be somebody watching you. And this goes for any job that's out there, any type of job. If you show somebody the work, you will definitely be compensated in some kind of way.
We thank you for your time, sir. We thank you for your presence. LA the GOAT. Much blessings to you, sir. And we wish you the best. We know it's coming. We're going to go ahead and end this room very shortly. I go by the rundown. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. What a successful night it was. The legend himself, Mr. Jermaine Dupri, the young legend, LA the GOAT.